The many lies of Meghan Markle. That is the subject of today's Talking Points. Meghan Markle lies regularly, more than most people, about a lot. Yes, you can go back to the Oprah interview for many examples. She and Harry secretly married 3 days before their actual wedding. No. Her baby wasn't going to be a prince because of his race. No. She had her passport taken away by the palace. False. Palace HR dismissed her suicidal pleas for help. On and on and on it goes. Remember how she swore she had absolutely no contact with the writers of that fawning book, Finding Freedom, about Megxit? Compare those statements with her statements to the British courts, where she was forced to admit to the judge that, whoops, she forgot she 100% was in contact with the authors of Finding Freedom, a fact obvious to anyone who read that boot-looking embarrassment of a publication. She lies so often, she's had to hire a new publicity team now to help work on her image and a fact checker for her Spotify podcast, which is rather amusing when you consider the falsehoods broadcast there so far have all been about her. What's the fact checker going to do? I'm sorry, madam. It's appeared that you've lied about yourself again. Best of luck to the fact checker working for the Duchess of Duplicity. No, Duchess. The South African actor in the British Lion King production did not tell you that he celebrated your wedding with others in the streets in the way they celebrated Nelson Mandela being freed. No, madam. Your baby did not almost die in a fire while you were on an overseas trip. There was some smoke from a heater, and your son was nowhere near the room. Markle's latest lie came from her podcast that she did with Paris Hilton yesterday. It relates to Markle's time on the game show Deal or No Deal, back when she was about 25 years old and an aspiring actress in Hollywood. Now, any normal person who was on that show and later married a prince would probably say, oh, it was super fun and it opened up a lot of doors for me and I'm very grateful. Not Meghan Miss the Markle. Now that she's in her $15 million mansion in Montecito, which, despite her claiming that Harry saw the place and its intertwined palm trees out front and said to her, "They're us, my love," thus resulting in the purchase the lovebirds have now reportedly decided is utterly insufficient to their needs and they're getting a new one. But anyway, now sitting with those palm trees blowing in the breeze in front of them, with the benefit, I guess, of 2020 hindsight, I suppose, she now sees her time on that show as exploitative. Specifically, she claims that she now objects to how she was objectified on the show.
Before the tapings of the show, all the girls, we would line up and there were different stations for having your lashes put on or your extensions put in or the padding in your bra. We were even given spray tan vouchers each week because there was a very cookie cutter idea of precisely what we should look like. It was solely about beauty and not necessarily about brains. And when I look back at that time, I'll never forget this one detail. Because moments before we'd get on stage, there was a woman who ran the show and she would be there backstage and I can still hear her. She couldn't properly pronounce my last name at the time and I knew who she was talking to because she would go, "Markle, suck it in. Markle, suck it in." I was thankful for the job, but not for how it made me feel, which was not smart. And by the way, I was surrounded by smart women on that stage with me, but that wasn't the focus of why we were there. And I would end up leaving with this pit in my stomach, knowing that I was so much more than what was being objectified on the stage. I didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance.
Oh my God. So much to dissect here. First, the laughable notion that she did not know what she was getting herself into when she took a job in which one's only mission is to look tan, wear false eyelashes, and wear a skimpy, shiny dress while opening a suitcase. As if she was shocked to find out that suitcase number 24 did not actually have the nuclear codes in it, which needed her deciphering. That she wasn't going to be discussing Alzheimer's and the chromosomal missegregation caused by the amyloid beta peptide. She knew exactly what she was getting herself into on that job, and it was no surprise to her that they wanted her to look as good as possible while doing it. What she is trying to con us on now is whether she enjoyed it. She loved every minute of it. She wanted to be objectified. She wanted the adulation, just like she still wants it to this day. Miss I Just Want My Privacy now has a podcast, a Netflix show about her in production, a bio coming out by her spouse that's about to hit the shelves. She gave a lengthy interview to The Cut of New York Magazine just the other week, worked with the authors of that book, as I just mentioned, and just today was on the cover of Variety. The Princess of Privacy is actually desperate for publicity, to be noticed, to matter, in a way she never did while Suitcase Girl number 24 or while acting on the cable show Suits. And the way you know she never really minded the objectification that now makes her such a victim is by what she did after Deal or No Deal. In her podcast, she stoically says, "I quit after a year. Things were so rough. All the opening and closing and opening and closing. Sometimes the little suitcase latch must have gotten stuck. Can you imagine? Mike Rowe is coming up in a minute. Talk about dirty jobs. The horror this poor woman suffered as they put the mascara on her." Anyway, what did she do after she fled this horrible, objectifying job? Did she run for Senate? Go to law school? Volunteer at a senior citizen facility? No. She started a website in which she posted half-naked pictures of herself to celebrate her, before then going to work on Suits, in which she regularly appeared in her underwear. Was that objectification? Maybe it's only objectification like if you're carrying a suitcase? Flight attendants of the world, beware. Suitcase in hand and approving looks come your way. Bimbo, slut. Once you stow the bag, hike the skirt and enjoy the leering. Why is she lying about this? Why? Why can't she just say, "I'm so grateful to those producers who helped make me look amazing night after night and gave me my start in acting"? Because it's more important to her to be a victim. The same theme of every single one of her podcasts and of her life. Find successful, empowered women, reduce them to their lowest moments, and then claim to have taught a lesson about how terrible and especially sexist America is. See, I can relate too, because the evil woman at Deal or No Deal told me to suck my stomach in. The job was to be a model. If you don't want to be told to suck in your stomach at the office, go work at a bank. Get a law degree. Do something else, but don't join the beauty business and then claim you were exploited by people who didn't care for your thoughts on inflation. It's the same thing she did to the royal family. Same thing. Sign up for a job you know damn well is going to require certain things of you, and then play the victim when they do require those things. "I had to walk behind Kate. I lost my voice." In both cases, she knew exactly what she was getting herself into, but rather than just be honest about it, she's always morally superior. This is one of the most privileged women on the planet. She was building a career as an actress. It was a middling career, but she was getting a steady paycheck. She seemed to be enjoying it. She then set her sights on several rich, famous British men to marry as a means of taking her D-list fame to the next level. They all rejected her. This is all laid out in Tom Bauer's book, Revenge, and other books. Then she landed the mother lode, Prince Harry. She moved onto the palace grounds, was given a staff and security. She wore crown jewels at her wedding, at which George Clooney and Oprah Winfrey and the Queen sat supportively looking at her. And she still wants to play the poor me card. The royal family was racist toward me. Mariah Carey called me a diva. Me! I was treated like a bimbo by Deal or No Deal. You see, I can still be your embattled survivor, a feminist icon, a triumphant queen. Except she's not. And she knows she's not. She's not special. She's not a feminist icon. She gave up everything for a man, her country, her religion, her career, her family, her friends. She did it because she's a social climber. That was more important to her. And when she was outed For the conniving, manipulative, empty suit she is, she lashed out, claimed she wanted privacy, and moved to Montecito, dragging the prince out of the royal family with her. This woman is a fraud, and people get it. A poll this past summer showed the majority of Americans now disapprove of Meghan Markle. Another poll showed just 26% of Brits approve of her. It's not something a new publicity team can solve, nor can any fact checker. Only Meghan Markle can solve it. Stop the nonsense. Stop with the obsessive image crafting. We don't feel sorry for you. Take a step back. Be quiet for a while and do something meaningful that is not about you. Then maybe we will feel inspired to do something other than mock you. Are you tired of feeling like someone's always watching you on the internet? Maybe advertisers know a little bit too much about you, or you're concerned about the privacy of your identity. Using incognito mode will not solve the problem either. IPVanish VPN is here to protect your right to privacy and to help you stay anonymous online. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet without exposing your private details to third parties like hackers, your ISP, or advertisers. When you use IPVanish, all of your data is encrypted. That means your private details, your passwords, your communications, your browsing history, and much, much more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong, weird, prying hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try it. If you don't like it, you got a 30-day money-back guarantee. This is like getting 9 months for free, 70% off. IPVanish is super easy to use as well. You tap one button, you're instantly protected. Take your privacy back today with a brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/Megyn and use that promo code MEGYN to claim your 70% savings. ipvanish.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.